Double D?
Yeah, man. Well, turn it up, man.
Let's just go in and, like, kill all the orcs, right? They're the bad guys. Who gives a shit? We just hack and slash and we loot their dead bodies, right? Hack and slash, kill them all, you know, conquer the infidels.
Boy, that campaign sounds like a barrel of fun, doesn't it?
Somebody who's opening a refrigerator and leaning in, right, is the language of a woman. Somebody who's opening the refrigerator and being cut off halfway through that lean is the voice of like a mermaid or a siren. Right?
This is not the face of the hobby anymore. And I think there's been mistakes made in years past where people assumed that D&D players were all, you know, white dudes in a basement. Which has been a faulty assumption for a lot of years and gets more and more false every day. And so it's, in my viewpoint, honestly, guys like me can't leave soon enough.
I just had to be born with empathy and a weakness for socialism and femboys.
We gotta put a little hot sauce on the taco, you know what I mean?
We want this dwarf to be the dwarfiest dwarf.
Right.
We want the elf to be the elfiest elf.
And just the dashiest dash of Tabasco.
Their voices need to carry across water.
I'm a creative. It's a huge drain, right? Because fans can be awful.
I'll put the seed in your head when you listen to my videos, and no matter how much you want to disagree with me, when you leave my video, you will encounter what I'm saying. The seed will affect your mind. See, that's the problem with the seed when I'm putting it in your mind.
I am personally doing NoFap because right now I'm also doing semen retention.
You say white lives matter, they don't. White lives don't matter because white lives aren't a thing.
I disagree, Gary.
Lutherville, Marina Del X, Otisburg. Who's this monster? She's got her own place. Otisburg. It's a little bitty place. Otisburg. Okay, I just wipe it off. That's all. It's a little town.
Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
5, 4, 3. Great sandwich.
Thank you. I enjoyed having you here. You're a very good co-host.
Man, your sinewy muscles are just ripped. And look how your gleaming sweat just comes off your golden body, and the women are just looking the same, and all of them want
Double D. Commander D reporting for service. How you guys doing? Can everybody hear me?
I got you.
I hear you.
We're in the same room, though.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Hello.
Do you want to address the Otisburg, their crazy mouse?
You grab that.
Well, Curse of Yig, if you're wondering why it's always in there, it's just one of those things we kind of over the years just kind of referenced it. It's kind of like inside baseball amongst our group. So I don't know. It just got thrown in there in the early days, and kind of like Connie Chang, it's just there now.
Also, Neckbeardia rocks.
Oh yeah,
Gene Hackman, Christopher Reeves.
Oh hell yeah!
What a scene.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's a classic, and I mean, maybe we'll even talk because they released a picture of the new Superman for the James Gunn movies. So we'll get into that perchance. Who do we have in the chat here? Crazy Mouse. Anybody good?
They're all good. Hungar, north of the Rockies. Luke.
Yep.
Artistically accurate. Nix is in here.
Yep.
Just tons of people.
Boys, it's good to see you. I wish we had some female representation here. A little bit, but I think Charlotte jumped off the train for a little while. Hopefully she'll jump back on. But there might be a couple hiding in here who are just a little shy. But I will refer to the chat as boys until then. So, Noble Shield, how's it going, Double D?
I'm glad you said Noble Shield because I was reading Noob.
Noob Shield.
Noob Shield.
Never. Well, I hope everybody's having a great week so far. Hope you're having a great Wednesday.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Happy Wednesday.
Yeah. I have been, as I think I mentioned on Saturday, my wife and I, Mrs. D, we did a member-only chat, which we may actually do a series now. We started playing Gloomhaven. We're kind of getting things. I know we made probably a ton of mistakes, but we're kind of nailing those down, and I'm kind of working on getting it set up properly for you guys to see. So if you're not a member, I don't know, consider joining if you want some private streams. Mrs. D went on camera. Oh my God, she's like, should I go? Should I not go? And I'm like, yeah.
She showed up in a ballroom gown. She knew she was going.
Hair's all up, yeah. Other than that, I know busy for everybody. Crazy Mouse is always busy.
It is busy. This weekend was father-daughter dance. It was ROTC awards for our son. It was prom for our oldest. You mix in work and just the running around shit.
Yep.
Nonstop. Being on the go, me and Rogan were texting in a private, chat.
Yeah.
Being on the go is exhausting. And it's the nonstop of going. And then when you hear someone else been like, so busy. And I have someone in mind.
Yeah, I know.
And I hear about you thought that was fucking busy? Are you kidding me?
I threw in 2 loads of laundry today.
Yeah. Goodness gracious.
Swamped.
You're going to Sam's Club? That's your busy?
And I tell you what, I've said this before. Crazy Mouse is one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life.
Oh yeah,
I appreciate that
for sure. Yeah, it's just a bunch of events, kind of as we just wait for a couple more. We'll of course get into Larry Elmore in just a moment. Just allowing a few more people to get in here.
You got a question about Rogan's avatar?
He's not undead. He's quite alive.
Oh, you mean your chat avatar?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, it's Rogan Gosh. That's a character from a what? Is that a British comic?
Yes, originally from a British comic. Yes.
Yeah.
Off Vertigo or Dark Horse or I don't know. I don't remember which one.
Yeah. Now we should, by the way, guys, be broadcasting also to X and Rumble, which I'm not real big on Rumble right now, but I'm gonna. You mean tell me Double D isn't married to Crazy Mouse? Well, there's always been talk,
There was a guy in our gaming group.
It's my hetero life mate.
He thought I lived here.
Yeah, way back. He's like, oh, you don't live here?
And it was just over something so simple as I knew where the cups and plates were. That's how it happened. Where's the cups and plates? Oh, they're right in the cabinet right above this, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, see you guys later. Wait, you don't live here?
He also came downstairs in a bathrobe, so,
Oh, gosh.
Oh, boy.
Let's get
there
this
we go.
going.
Let's get it on. Bam. 1 second here. Let me clean that up. I gotta max that out. Max that Patrick Demo chat out. Thank you so much, Patrick Demo. $10. Can't stay. Biggest Geekus podcast got pushed to today, and I'm a guest host. Oh, congratulations!
Oh, rock and roll.
Good job. Yeah, I got to talk with those guys. I know we've tried to hook up. I've missed them a couple times, and I've been so busy. I'd love to talk to them. Thought I'd shove a couple of gold pieces your way. Good night, everyone. Happy streaming. Thank you so much again, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick.
Catch it on the rerun, and
good luck on your show tonight.
Yeah, good luck for sure.
Kill it.
Tell them we said hello. Good guys over there.
We should have a crossover. You know how Law and Order SVU has crossover episodes? You tried that too on one of your Sunday things, or right? I'm someone was hosting a show and then you have an after party.
Oh yeah, that was Inappropriate Characters. Yeah. Which is they're kind of off YouTube now. So
John, am I doing better? It says I'm echoey.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, maybe just turn your mic a little bit over there, Rogan, away from his. That's all.
6 feet. 6 feet.
Yeah.
Is that better?
One presumes he's speaking through a little mouse megaphone so as to be heard.
Remember Jerry's...
Chris?
Is it his nephew that comes and he's the one that always points to his mouth when he wants something to eat?
In what?
In Tom and Jerry.
Oh, yeah. Boy, you got a good memory. I probably haven't seen one of those episodes since I was 15 years old. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I always hated the episodes where they were friends.
I don't like that one either.
Yeah. For a while, I was like, "Oh, isn't it nice?" And I'm like, "There's just something wrong here."
When I was younger, I don't have many diva moments, but I definitely had one with Santa Claus. My Christmas presents had to be wrapped in Tom and Jerry wrapping paper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My man of taste.
My mom said it was getting really hard to find. This was before eBay and all that shit. It was really hard to find.
Rational Ginger, I see is they're going to go off YouTube. They didn't get booted off, but Ryan David and Nerdcognito did. And as a show of support, give Pundit and Venger credit. They said, "Yeah, we'll just go over to Rumble, and we'll do things over there." So make sure to if you're on Rumble, get over there, because you can also look at my stuff over there. I'm going to start making sure I'm uploading stuff there regularly and simulcasting. But make sure to look them up. And that's where I guess you will find, at least right now, the Inappropriate Characters podcast once a month on Sundays. Yeah, so that's what's going on there. All right, what do we got here? We got, oh my Lord, we got 78 already. I think we can probably go in.
Get out of the shallow end, get in that deep end.
Yeah, let's get
dive.
Get into that deep end. All right. I'm going to have to do that. These videos will echo. Yeah, Cal. How you doing, Cal? Good to see you, buddy. It was because of the Nerdcognito banning. So, don't know what to say. That's kind of why I'm feathering the nest with Rumble and Twitter, guys. Or X, sorry. Still got to get used to that. It's just kind of right now it's kind of a backup plan, but who knows if it takes off, maybe we can head over there. I don't want to say Google's been bad for me. They haven't really messed with me, YouTube. So, but I do see what's happening, and I'd be a blind man if I didn't. So we're going to use them right now, and we'll keep it going, but we'll also kind of build out Rumble as much as we can, as well as X.
Bleeker's asking what got him banned, and Bleeker, maybe if you weren't here last week,
it was 2 weeks ago. Oh no, it was. Yeah, it was last week. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Supposedly, no one knows. That's the story that everyone is using.
Yep. Behind the scenes, F. Eckery, says Surly. Yeah, could be. Like me and Crazy Mouse and Rogan were talking about it beforehand, and I'm still kind of shocked because I view myself as way more controversial than those guys. But oh well, who knows? I guess it's you never know. The bullet that has your name on it, as they say in war. So. Panther, thank you very much. I will keep trying to keep up the content, and I was very glad that art video is doing well. It kind of had a resurgence this week. It kind of came out of the gate, stumbled out of the gate a little bit. I mean, it didn't fall flat on its face, but it was slow, and I'm like, okay, maybe just people don't want to hear that. But then this past week, it's gotten a lot of traction.
It's a good video.
I put a little time into it, and I thought it was kind of. Had some broad appeal to this audience. So
I enjoyed watching it. Had my mind going. It really did.
So I'm going to do more. I'll do like a second tier, maybe in like second edition or something. Maybe I'll do my least favorite. Those are always interesting, right? kind of opens up some new worlds, because as I've told you guys time and again, I don't always want to do what I'm gonna be forced to do now because of stupidity, but here we are. Okay, so as many of you already know, let's see here, this piece of art got a lot of traction this week. This is the cover to the Red Box, the 1983 reprint of the basic set. Beautiful cover. It was even included in that video I did of favorite art. It's by, of course, the legendary Larry Elmore. And this is just as kind of like Arrow Lotus, the one that I'm always pimping. With the sorceress, the fighter, and the green kind of dragon. That was my introduction to the game, and that's kind of the way I always view it. For a lot of people, this is their introduction. When they first started hearing like, hey, what is all this D&D? They went to the store and they bought this. So there's a lot of, feelings attached to this. A lot of nostalgia, I guess, right?
For me, this is the one I remember the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This was the one that really sparked, that wow factor inside my skull. It was awesome.
It is. It's beautiful. Of course, a little bit of a different style than Arrow Lotus, a little bit more realistic, but still not hyper realistic, kind of like the way the 5e art is now, which I'm not a huge fan of. This is almost that perfect, kind of balance between the two if you're, kind of like both.
I love the movement. I love how I look at it and I could see that guy, he's in the process of swinging that sword. I could, I can imagine where it's going to land.
It's supposed to be magical. I think that's why it's blurred, but that blurring also gives like some motion to it.
Right.
It almost makes it feel like it's in motion. So it serves like a dual purpose. Just beautiful. All right, so let's hear first. Let's hear Larry Elmore talk. And this, I first got wind of this interview from DM Bloodworth, Unscripted and Unchained. So definitely, if you're not already, definitely follow him. Good dude. In fact, I think I was even on his birthday show like a month ago or something. Yeah, he brought up, he did a video. Check that out too. But he brought up this interview. He's like, wait a minute, listen to all this. So let's just hear first, without even setting up what happened. Let's just hear Larry talk a little bit about this iconic piece.
Yeah, and it's the only thing that in his 2 front feet overlap though. I'm gonna come outside the box, which works well. Has it jumping out and grabbing it.
Yeah. I remember from another interview seeing of you talking about how the original one had lots more going on outside it, and Gary.
Yeah, Gary. He told me, he said, if I was gonna paint this, I didn't know what I wanted. He said, and I'd done a few little things. Well, I had this drawing. Okay, if you go to my Kickstarter, you see that artwork of the Kickstarter that's there. Well, that was the preliminary rough. That right there is a preliminary rough I did for Gary for the basic box for red. And he looked at it. This is cropped some, but you can see it's got the one horn. Okay, same dragon.
Yeah.
Same guy, okay? And
Same
Gary
what?
said, he said, nah, I don't like it. And I said, well, what do you like? What do you want? He said, I don't know. I just wanted to reach out, jump out and grab you. He said, like that.
Hey, press pause.
Dragon.
Yeah.
We got our first Rumble.
Oh yeah, that's Patty. Yeah, which makes sense. I'm glad it's showing through here on the combined chat.
All
So
right.
hey Patty, good to see you, buddy. Patty is a Rumble hardcore, and I'm slowly joining you over there, buddy. Yeah, thanks for calling that out, because I was gonna ask if anybody did that. If you see an X, that's like one of those Pokemon, Go, the live thing. You got to catch an X comment. That'll be something. Okay. This isn't very long. It's just got a couple seconds here. But he mentioned Guy. He already called the warrior Guy.
In there. I said, you like that? Yeah. All right. So I went back and And just changed, I traced over, because I had drawn it out there. So I traced over, flipped it so it wouldn't be, because I wanted him to be facing the guy more.
The guy more.
And just flipped the head and skipped the butt. I might just flip the dragon. But anyway, so I brought that drawing back to him, and he's like, "Oh, that's perfect." I mean, I think he realized it was on the first rough I gave him. He loved it. So I went back and started painting.
So very clearly, he's established. Now, this is like a month or so ago, or maybe longer, before any of this came up. This is a man. I don't know why it would need to be stated thus, but that is, of course, a man fighting a dragon. So let's talk about what happened in the last couple days. We'll do it via the character sheet at comicbook.com, I think, is the ones that announced this.
Wizkids reveals the stunning truth about a 50-year-old D&D mystery.
To the mystery mobile.
Earlier this year, Wizkids
it was, yeah.
revealed a special D&D Icons of the Realm 50th Anniversary miniature set, featuring 25 classic characters and creatures from D&D lore, and their depictions in both 5th and 1st editions. As part of the set, Wizkids is including 10 secret rare miniatures, featuring a mix of recognizable characters from various parts of D&D's history. 9 of those miniatures have already been revealed, and they include characters like the Blue Wizard and the Green Knight from the basic set cover, the Paladin and Fiend from the classic Paladin in Hell art.
So these are all really cool. Like, these are all iconic.
Right.
So how could you possibly screw this up, right?
Right.
All these iconic past images. Well, let's see.
And Bobby, Sheila, Uni, Dungeon Master, and Venger from the Dungeons & Dragons animated series. And now, we here at the character sheet have the exclusive reveal of the 10th miniature.
And here we go.
The Red Box Warrior will be the final secret rare miniature appearing in the Icons of the Realm's 50th Anniversary set. The Red Box Warrior is best known for appearing in the iconic Larry Elmore artwork that appears on the Basic Rules Red Box that was originally published way back in 1977. Now, up to this point, we've never seen the face or front of the Red Box Warrior, but now Wizkids has shown off this iconic character, which is often seen as the prototypical fighter in the eyes of many D&D players. And it comes with a surprising twist. As you can see in the reveal, the Red Box Warrior miniature is deliberately and clearly meant to present as a woman. Now, we will also note that WizKids...
Drink her in, fellas.
It is just one amazing insult after another. It really is. It really is.
I mean, there's no possible way. I mean, unless you're blind, you would think that's a woman. But, okay, that's fine. Oh, there we go.
Hold on, I got it.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Red alert. Red alert. Doc Flamingo, $20. Thank you so much, Doc. Thanks for always being there, Doc. In my opinion, we shouldn't react to this stuff. It's bait. Well, let's see. We'll finish here. Yes, it is infuriating. Yes, it's disrespectful to the artist. But they want us to lose our minds about what will seem like trivial things to outsiders, so we all look unhinged. I do agree with a little of that.
That's a really good point.
I think there's a fine line between, remember when Az did the old, pronouns, thing? That's what they want. They want you upset and screaming into a microphone like, I can't believe they do this. Pronouns. You can't fall for that. You can, of course, look at it, document it, make fun of it, call them out, but don't, like you said, don't overreact. So I disagree slightly in that you can just let it go. Because, when you let everything go, you start having, Sony, working on technology to track whether you're being harassed or something online just by your biorhythms. And then, they can delete people with it or, a hate speech bill up in Canada that we may talk about, where you can be fined up to $20,000 or more for something you said years ago. So I disagree in that you cannot let this stuff go. You can't just bury your head and just kind of say, well, I just want to play my games, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can do that fine, but I think there has to be people out here who at least call attention to it. So I'm proud to do so because this is really gay, really dumb. Okay. So this is the art. That's the original sketch, by the way. And it also shows, of course, there's no doubt. I mean, other than Larry Elmore telling you that, Gary wanted a guy fighting, which, look, this is the early 80s. I mean, it's a guy. It's always going to be a guy. But in the original, Larry thought like, oh, yeah, well, it's kind of just like the original Errol Lotus cover. We'll have a woman sorceress there. Kind of doing her part, maybe a nod to that, which is fine. They would not have two women and a halfling, fighting a dragon in 1983. It wouldn't happen, but it's also not the way it was drawn.
Dungeons and Dragons history is canon, whatever, is completely disregarded, obviously, by these people. They absolutely have no shame whatsoever. They've completely bastardized its past, dissecting it and creating a human centipede out of everything. Yeah. But it's done with real hatred. Yes. in their heart. And like I said, I don't feel there's a sequel to this where the dragon and fighter are older. Yeah. I think I may have a picture of that. All right, so. Yeah, this is, of course, WizKids. Now, it's Wizards of the Coast, I think, is licensing these figures out to Wizkids, who do Hero Clicks and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, so this is them breathlessly announcing. And, of course, they're getting raked over the coals, and rightly so, because it really makes them look like they don't understand the history of the game, but also that they're being very disrespectful to Larry Elmore.
Why don't they just fucking make two versions?
Yeah.
At worst.
Well, I'll show you what else they could have done, too.
Let's pretend that there is a gaming group and it's all women. A woman DM and a woman traveling party. Maybe these girls don't want to play guys. So give them a girl character. But keep the guy character because that's what it is. Yep. When you go... I think Mrs. Double D has one. She watches baseball. But the Major League Baseball is all men. They sell women's jerseys. Yeah, for sure. They're just cut a little bit different, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's big business.
We want you to watch baseball. Yeah. We don't care if you're a boy or a girl, and we'll make a jersey just for you.
Yeah.
Great. We want you to all play Dungeons and Dragons or whatever variation you want to call it, but it's all the same game. It is all the same game.
Well,
and so we're going to have a version of a girl one and a guy one, like the original.
Here's the here's the article, which I think was already sort of mentioned, where there's I love how they're talking about how it's a real secret and everybody's been wondering this. No, nobody's been wondering this. It's not a surprise. Nobody's been wondering it because everybody just knew, because everybody, like I said, who isn't blind could see. And this is the virtue signaling here. Wizkids also points out that their depiction of the Red Box Warrior is purposely and clearly presented as a woman, providing a bit of a surprise for some. I mean, it's a surprise, not a very good one for people who are just, who realize the truth.
So what's next? Is Warduke a woman now?
Yeah. Well, all right, so Larry himself got wind of this. All right, so my view is kind of going on what Crazy Mouse said. When you're a player or a DM and you buy that box, you are free. It is your prerogative to imagine anybody you want in there, man, woman, or anything. That is your prerogative as a customer and an owner of that. And now I might say, well, it's a dude, but they're like, nah, I view that as a woman. I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's fine. If that's how you imagine it, that's fine. But when you're selling a miniature, it's a little different. I think you owe something to the artist. If you were in doubt, and it appears these people were in doubt, we weren't, but it appears they were. I think you at least should go to Larry and say, hey, Larry, man, woman. Well, here's what he said. It's a man. I guess you could stop there, but we'll go. Gary didn't know what he wanted. All he wanted was something simple that would jump out at you. He wanted a male warrior. If it was a woman, you would know it. I'm pretty famous for painting women, and he is. There was never a question in all these years about the male warrior. No one thought it was a female warrior. Whoever thought it was a female warrior is quite crazy. And they don't know what they're talking about. This is stupid. I painted it. I should know. That's it. I mean, that's the conversation ender right there, to us. If you want to understand, if you're at all like confused as to what a female warrior would look like when drawn by Larry Elmore, well, here's a female warrior and a dragon. No mistaking. That's a woman. Another Larry Elmore, woman. As he said, he's pretty famous for these. If he wanted it to be a woman, it would have looked like a woman. Hell, he doesn't even need to put him in a chainmail bikini. This is Alina. Pretty famous drawing.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Now, why not do that? Why not make a miniature of that if you wanted a female warrior? Why not old Morgan Ironwolf from the basic set, the basic book? Iconic. You get to see my Cheeto fingers from ages gone by. It's
double D DNA.
That's right. Yeah, you could clone me from that.
I grew my own double D.
So I don't understand. You had all these female warriors you could choose from, but it was important for them to make something that they, let's face it, deep down they knew. Something that deep down they knew was a man, and turn it into a woman. And that's why, Doc, I'm sorry, I can't let it go. It's got to be called out, and you're right. You can't scream about it, but you can certainly show them how ridiculous it is. I mean, this is not a woman.
They're destroying from old D&D white dudes in print, in art.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and like I said, if you don't say something, it kind of gets accepted. It just kind of gets accepted as fact by future generations. So I think they're being rightfully excoriated, about this, and they're keeping quiet, which I guess is smart on their part. But holy smokes, how stupid! Closer look.
Great picture.
Yeah, that's Jeff D, right? Yeah, it's Jeff D. And the final nail in the coffin is a company already made an action figure of this a couple years ago. There you go.
Well, what's that guy? He's like a spokesman for a makeup company. He did like a commercial with Dylan Mulvaney, and he has long hair and a beard and a mustache, and he claims he's a woman.
Claims.
And I don't know the name of him, but that's exactly who this character looks like.
I seem to recall seeing them side by side.
Yeah, they
so
were.
I think I know. Yeah, I think I know. Like I only saw like still pictures of them on Twitter.
So I think I know. So maybe somebody in the chat will. Elliot Vernon says pre-girdle of gender change. Yeah, Patty. Here, I'll grab that. Yeah, you know what it is. They want you to tire. They want to tire you out. They want you to dissociate with the product. Makes it easier for them with you out scrutinizing them. Yeah, they do just kind of want to kind of tire everybody out, like all the normies. Like, oh, I'm just kind of tired of this. So I do see where you do need to pick and choose your battles. This is such a blatant, stupid thing. It's almost like low-hanging fruit. So, but yeah, that's been happening the last couple of days. And like, one other thing. You have to know that we occasionally do win. Bud Light put their tail between their legs and ran. Helldivers. So they almost gave in to Sony by making you create a Sony account to play Helldivers, even if you were on PC. Huge backlash. Guess what? They gave in. Helldivers said, we ain't going to do it. So you do have to understand that you do have a voice, and if you organize correctly and go about things the right way, you can affect a little bit of change. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Did it again.
Man.
Snake Oil, you're the dude.
Yep.
And we also have a super
Thank you very much, Snake Oil. 10 memberships.
That's so nice.
It is very nice. Jeffro, thank you so much. $5 Canadian. Artists like Larry Elmore, Clyde Caldwell, Keith Parkinson, and Brahm were major factors in drawing people to D&D. The disrespect is palatable. Yeah. Yeah, to me, that's the overwhelming factor. Is just it's so disrespectful because it's like kind of saying F you to Larry Elmore. Well, we're just gonna interpret this the way we want. All right.
So where's the balance? The Lady of Pain is now the dude of pain.
Yeah.
You know, fair is fair.
They'll be rightly chastised, and they'll wait a while, to do something like this again. But I mean, look, you already know these people hate you, hate your guts.
The thing is,
it's not you that I hate.
If it's
just your guts.
It's sold in a package, right? It's not a separate, a standalone miniature you buy.
I think so. I don't know if anybody in the chat has that information. I think they're selling it as like a promo package. So we'll. Oh, 1 second here. Don't want to do that. Almost echoing there. I was just checking out Twitter here. See how
so
we're
it's
doing.
just a couple seconds behind.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Rogan. It's all like one thing. And the bad thing is, I think a lot of people would have been like, I hate Wizards of the Coast, but maybe this is Wizkids, and maybe they're not much better for some things. But hell, I don't feel like I'm giving them money directly. I'll get all these people because I want the cartoon characters. I want all these classics. And it's like, you know what it is? It's like the little bit of poop in your ice cream. It only takes a little micro dot of poop, and when you know that it's there, and guess what you're doing? You're throwing out the whole fucking gallon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't need a ton of it. You just need to know, oh, by the way, I didn't wash my hands after I wiped. There might be a little bit of a mess in there. Okay. Well, guess what? That's going to cause me not to indulge in your product. So go back to here. So that looks like the chat's fired up, rightly so. I don't think we'll get the W on this one as far as them changing anything, but we can sure as hell kind of make them think twice. And the thing is, you have to tag them on Twitter and you can do it respectfully and just say, hey, this is all you need to do is post that response by Larry Elmore. Why did you guys do this? Why didn't you consult with him? Now, if you want to call them, whatever, you guys are morons. I mean, I'm not going to stop you there. But if you want to be a little bit more respectful, that's all you have to do. And they should be flooded like, the Helldivers people were about the Sony thing. And I understand video games is just way bigger than tabletop games. But, you could still make an impact with a couple hundred people constantly reminding them, you did this, you morons. Don't ever do it again. Yeah, it's like how Congress sneaks in acts in bigger bills. Yeah, they put in like pork or, like a poison pill. Yeah, and I don't know, Snake Oil Sean, if Larry is on Twitter. I got a feeling that looked like a Facebook post to me, so I'm going to guess that he is just on Facebook. I think I would have seen people retweeting him or reposting him on X over the last couple days if that was actually made there. Yeah.
John Osborne, don't think I didn't see that mouse dropping comment. I saw it. I just
what was it?
Just said one mouse dropping can ruin a gallon of ice cream.
It just takes a little one.
Yeah.
Just a little mouse dropping.
Hey man, if you eat just one little dropping, you're still a shit eater.
Yeah.
When I was younger and in that cult, my freaking aunt used to come to our house and poison my mom with all this shit, like all the rat hairs that we were eating, and we weren't allowed to have this certain syrup and this drink and all this other stuff. And it just was so annoying. And it just makes me think, like, when you hear about like, oh, there's a mouse dropping in your ice cream. Well, according to my crazy aunt, I used to eat rat hairs all the time, apparently.
I remember the comedian Robert Klein had a joke, but way back, like the early 80s when, comedy was like big on like HBO and all that. And it wasn't even a joke. It was just his comment. He was talking about how in peanut butter, there was an acceptable amount of rat hair in peanut butter, like 7 rat hairs or something. I don't know. Who knows how truthful it was, but it always got me thinking, like, do I? But I don't know.
Sometimes, like, you might not want to know the stuff that happens.
No, it's like if it's a micro thing and I don't see it, I mean,
When I worked
But if you tell me, if you say I just wiped my ass and I didn't wash, let me dip my finger here into the ice cream, and well, hey, you guys want some?
Just remember when I worked at a grocery store and I was in charge of like cutting all the fruit for the grocery store. We used to have to wash all the fruit, because as you're cutting a cantaloupe, your knife is going through the shell, right? And then it's cutting all the inside of the flesh. So if you don't wash the outside, all that dirt and shit could get on the inside. So we used to have to soak all this fruit in this like solution beforehand. Well, in that solution is bleach.
Oh, jeez.
But hold on there, Double D. Called ppm, parts per million.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Like,
so yes, there is bleach in what we're cleaning this stuff with, the fruits.
People use that to like I saw people like trying to indict. Like, I think Subway subs, like a couple years back, they're like, do you know that the bread at Subway contains the same ingredient as, in like plastics, and it's, some long chemical name. And it's like, well, I started thinking too, like, well, I mean, they both probably contain water too. I mean, is this one of those cases where, you're getting all bent out of shape essentially over nothing?
Yes.
I mean,
bent out of shape over nothing.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of things in a lot of other things. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad for you.
And that ppm, parts per million, gallons. That's how much we're talking about.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So that's definitely nothing. Yeah.
And if that stuff freaks you out, then never swim in an ocean or a lake, because where do you think the fucking dolphins and sharks?
Oh yeah.
I've been to the Atlantic Ocean several times. I've never dipped my toe in it. And I do not swim in our lake.
I don't swim in our lake, but I've been in the Pacific Ocean. I put my hands in the Pacific, and I've swam in the Atlantic.
Yep, it's...
I have my Atlantic Ocean story.
I've been to the Atlantic Ocean several times. I've never dipped.
I never want to hear in our house where's such and such? I can't find it. I've looked everywhere. I found my contact lens in the Atlantic Ocean. True story.
Still an amazing story.
True story. I was swimming there with Mrs. Mouse. A wave, kicked my ass, got in my eyes, ripped out my contact as I was treading water, getting my bearings. Mrs. Mouse is like, "What's wrong?" As you're squinting at someone looking at a contact wearer could tell like what's going on. And I just remember I said, "Yeah, my contact just fell out." Oh, there it is. And it went right by me. So I found my contact in an ocean. I never want to hear you complain you can't find your pants.
Wee tiny near invisible piece of plastic.
Yeah. I was at a basketball game. I was at a basketball game and a high school basketball game, and someone got raked across the eye and their contact fell out and they couldn't find it. But I actually saw it on the court from like the 4th, 5th row up. So I was like, it's right there. And then they let me go on the court to get it for the player. So
to lick it and put it in their eye, or?
Well, I mean, I'm sure they washed it off. I turned my back and went back to my seat. But I've had to just use lick to put my contact back in if there's no solution around.
I used to when I was able to wear them. Yeah, I did the same thing. Gotta make do.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Osborne says he lost one in the train station in Salamanca, Spain.
I should have been there for you, buddy.
Yeah. If it was Salamanca, New York, we'd have come for you.
Salamanca, New York. I was walking out. One more crazy story, then we'll get back to the show.
Yeah.
I was there gambling at Salamanca Casino, and I lost all my money, all of it, not one penny left. And I started walking to my car, and the park ranger guy was there. He's like, "Oh, you can't go over there. There's a bear." I'm like, "Well, I'm parked over there. You're gonna have to wait." I just was like, "Fuck this." I just kept walking. The guy's like, "You can't go there." I was like, "Tomorrow's headline will read Penniless Man Mauled by Bear." I'm not sticking around.
Yeah. At that point,
you just want to leave.
Yeah. It's
I lick
like
my wounds. I'm out of here.
When you get cleaned out at the casino, it's
that walk of shame you got to go do.
Just, you feel like you have a hole in your stomach.
Nobody's watching you, but everyone's watching you.
Yeah.
Nope.
When people are leaving a casino, you can always tell who won and who lost. The people who won have a quicker pace. They have their hand in their pocket to cover up the wad of cash that they have, so they're walking kind of briskly. When you lose all your money at the casino, you're basically kicking a rock down to your car.
Your chin is on your chest.
Yep.
It is true, yeah, because I know when I win, it's like I get a bounce to my I get a little steam in my stride. Yep. I'm like, hell yeah.
I'm invincible.
Yep. All right. So, this. What do we think of this, Chad? This is James Gunn is taking over essentially for Zack Snyder in doing DC movies, which I guess would ostensibly include Superman, Justice League. Don't know if he's going to touch. Batman's usually its own entity, so I'm not sure what they're doing there. But the tentpole is, of course, Superman. So they released this, and man, I can't even remember this dude's name. I'm sure somebody in the chat.
Clark Kent.
well, talking about the actor, but yeah, that is Clark Kent getting into Superman. So a lot of people, including me, were a little bemused by this because it looks like there's a catastrophe going on behind Superman. And he looks, as somebody said on Twitter, like the old Dunkin' Donuts guy. Time to make the donuts as he's putting on his shoe very slowly.
First time I saw this, I thought, this is Superman the morning after his liaison with Green Lantern.
Could be.
No offense to anybody out there.
It's odd because, you know, if you want, you're kind of indicating that there's an emergency there. And usually, you know, with Superman, it's always like, you know, up and away, or, you know, he's like ripping open his shirt.
His action pose.
Yeah, his action pose. Or, you know, he is, as Crazy Mouse said, Clark Kent, and he's like, you know, setting all that aside to become who he really is. Here it looks like he's just kind of bothered by it all. As I said earlier, like, instead of truth, justice, and the American way, I think his new tagline is going to be, hey, You should just be thankful I showed up at all. As he's watching a pile of dead bodies on the ground. Wow, what took you so long, Soups?
This could be a magazine ad for Lazy Boy.
Yep.
Some Skechers slip-ons.
Yeah, I was going to say some kind of a boot.
But it's not. There's no virility in there. There's no urgency. There's no.
Yeah.
The visual. Looking at and seeing it. Here's this man of power. Here's a comic book superhero. Damn it. But
yeah.
No. This is our friendly neighborhood guy putting on his slippers.
Chris Miller, $5. Thank you, Chris. Looks like he's leaving after a hookup. Money's on the dresser. Sweet chocolate. I'll be back next Tuesday as usual.
They talked about how could people not know the difference between Clark Kent and Superman just by the pair of glasses. So the actor that played Superman, I don't know which one it was, like the last
Christopher
one.
Reeves?
No.
Oh, no. You mean the newer one.
Yeah.
The Twilight guy.
And he went out and stood under the Superman preview sign in Times Square.
Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill.
With just his glasses on, but wearing a Superman shirt. And no one recognized him.
Oh, really? Really?
So you can hide in plain sight with these glasses on.
Do you remember the old sketch on Saturday Night Live when The Rock was Superman?
Yes.
And he was like working he was like Clark Kent, and everybody guessed he was Superman. Wasn't that like the gist of it?
Yeah.
Like Doc Flamingo, again, $5. Thank you so much, Doc. Cropped out of frame is the super hooker. He just wasted $500. Yeah, it seems to be the consensus building, Doc, is that he's just stepping out, I guess, on Lois, and
looks like he's got a shameful case of ED.
The snake oil must have seen the same Henry Cavill thing that I did, because he's just like, yep, Henry Cavill did it.
Yep. So yeah, now I'm also not of a mind to let one image solid. Maybe it was just, look, who knows who does these things, who releases these? Maybe they're not thinking.
This sets the pace, though.
Yeah, it off puts it, right? It puts it on the wrong foot. But in the same respect, James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Pretty well thought of.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say, this movie's going to suck or anything, but I'm just like, okay, let's make sure that we don't have another, kind of Snyderverse situation where it's just going to be another disappointment. Hopefully it won't. Hopefully this is just a publicity photo that they effed up royally, because they certainly seem to have. But it is kind of amusing. Makes for good fodder, does it not?
I mean, why couldn't he have been standing in his hideaway way up in the North Pole and seeing this going on, and him getting ready to jump into action or something like that? Why couldn't it have been something dynamic?
Yeah, for sure.
David Cornsweat.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I actually put it as the file name for this picture, but then I have no way to read that when it's on screen. Ooh, looks like we got a little dropping there. Your soundboard is active and ready there, Crazy Mouse. If you
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah, if you
Yep. We'll pop the next one.
North of the Rockies, $10. He was here before the show started.
He was the one greeting Rogan and I for our beginning of our shift.
Yes. Thank you.
He's leaving because he didn't, for $10, he's leaving because he didn't realize the threesome involved him, Wonder Woman, and the Invisible Man. Yeah, wasn't there an old joke about
yes,
that? Yeah, I seem to remember that. Good pull there. There you go. That's my boy.
He's 6'4" and he's from Philadelphia, which means Captain Stern loves him already.
Oh, yeah.
And Gavin hates him.
And that's already strike two. Yeah.
He's not British?
Gavin hates Philadelphia and everything.
But he also hates British. This may be a wash. He may accept it because it's not British. Although, how could you hate Henry Cavill? I mean, yeah, those movies were not very good They were okay, the Zack Snyder movies, but they weren't very good. But the best part of them was Henry Cavill.
He did a great job, I believe. He looked it. Yeah, he brought the energy.
He looked like Superman.
He really did.
And he's an OG like nerd. I mean, legit. Not like, I mean, he's got like a 40K army. He wants to do like a 40K show the right way. You know, The Witcher. He was a huge fan of like the game.
Is he on next week's show?
I'll let you know. Stay tuned.
Yeah, everyone
stay
tune in
tuned.
next week. We might have Henry Cavill. We might not. We'll let you know at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time.
There you go. What do you think of that?
Who's that guy?
This guy looks pretty douchey.
That is the Prime Minister of Canada.
They really have a Prime Minister? I thought they had a mayor.
A mayor, yeah.
What's the Queen? What's Charles in charge of?
That's, well, technically, that's Britain. I think he's like the, there always is a connection between Canada and the UK. Believe it or not. Because I know the old Winnipeg Jets, when they would play, they had the world's biggest portrait of Queen Elizabeth II at their old barn where they played. Yeah, so technically Canada used to be a holding of Great Britain. Of course, those days are long over, but they still sort of pay homage in some ways. Yeah, so that is Justin Trudeau. Some say he is the illegitimate son of Fidel Castro. He bears a remarkable resemblance at this age. He is a, I don't want to say he's an out-and-out communist, but he's pretty darn close. And he is destroying the country, as I said earlier. How? I'm glad you asked. This is from The Spectator. Even Orwell's thought police didn't go as far as Trudeau. We're off to a good start. There he is. The himbo himself. You'd assume the reaction to SNP's new hate crime laws would make your authoritarian governments hesitate before introducing similar legislation. Hamza Yousaf, who is he was the Scotland Prime Minister, became a laughingstock, and his approval ratings fell 15 points, but apparently not. So just kind of going through here. Here's the Canadian proposal. Everybody in the West is trying to introduce some form of hate speech law, which whenever you hear hate speech, you should just think it's anti-free speech, because they're not smart enough to determine what hate is, and it's just words. Sticks and stones may break your bones. You can go offline. And if you do commit a crime, like incite, organize and incite a riot or something like that, there's already laws on the books to protect against that. Okay, so any hate speech law you should despise with every fiber of your being. Canadian proposal is, by some distance, the worst. It's so dystopian, even George Orwell and Philip K. Dick failed to anticipate it. Discrimination is already banned under the Canadian Human Rights Act, but the new law will expand the definition of discrimination to include online speech likely to foment detestation or vilification of an individual or group. To those worrywarts who are anxious about the risk that this new law might be weaponized by woke activists, the government has said that detestation and vilification are not the same as disdain or dislike, which will still be permitted, thank you, Mr. Trudeau, or speech that discredits or humiliates or hurts or offends, which raises the question: who gets to decide what speech falls foul of this new standard, and what qualifies them to make these Solomon-like judgments, parsing the difference between dislike, which is acceptable, and detest, which is verboten? That job will fall to a new national agency called the Digital Safety Commission. By the way, if you have any sort of commission that has safety involved in the name, run far away, because they're the ones that will they will come gather you up at the appropriate time. Comprised of 5 commissioners and an army of bureaucratic busybodies, which will have the same powers as a federal court, save for the fact that it won't be bound by any technical or legal rules of evidence. Boy, that's nice. So they don't have to follow any standard. It's all dependent on the 5 people. Under the bill, anyone can accuse you of the communication of hate speech. And if the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal finds you guilty, it can order you to pay up to $20,000 to any victim and $50,000 to the state, of course. And, of course, on pain of imprisonment.
What's that? Alice in Wonderland, off with their head.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
The Queen of Hearts.
Yep, for sure. That's sort of the leader that Justin Trudeau is. All of these hardcore leftist leaders are very authoritarian like that. And, they don't want anybody sassing them back. No limit on how many times a malefactor can be ordered to pay these fines either. So bankruptcy looms for someone like Jordan Peterson, who's already come out on Twitter and said, this is the most, not one of, this is the worst, the worst law proposed in a Western country as far as restricting freedom, period. It's the absolute worst. And he's right. If you kind of look at it, boy, it's awful. And it isn't just stuff you've posted after the new law comes into force. You can get into trouble for, oh no, anything you've posted ever, dating back to the dawn of the internet. In other words, it's a gold embossed invitation to offense archaeologists to do their worst with the prospect of a $20,000 reward if they hit pay dirt.
So they're putting, a bounty on people.
Yeah.
You said this about, let's say you made an off-color joke about Jewish people, black people, whatever. I mean, you could literally, Indian people, you go up, find something, a joke that you passed on, a meme or something. I feel hurt by this, even though I had to go digging for it. You think these 5 lunatics in charge of this quote-unquote safety commission are going to side with you? Of course they're going to side with, the offended person. And it is true. It's like an offense archaeologist. That's a great name for it. Because you have a $20,000 reward coming at you. And the state is emboldened to go along with it, because if they find you guilty, not only do you owe them $20,000, you owe $50,000 to the state. They will bleed you dry. They did this during the trucker protests up in Canada. They threatened to, and I don't know if they actually did, shut down bank accounts for these Canadian truckers who were sick and tired of all the bullshit going on with like COVID and that stuff, and all these authoritarian measures. But guess what? In today's world, the more we're dependent on electronics and our cell phones and all that stuff, the easier it is for these people to just go in there and switch a button. And guess what? You're effed, because now you don't have access to your money. It's already being done in China. And as we saw from our response to COVID, apparently the people in charge in the West, they like the way China does things, because China suppresses their people. They give them a little bit of economic freedom. Oh, you can play video games. You can, go out, do this. You can go earn a living. It's not true, quote unquote, communism, even though it's run by the Communist Party. It's sort of a kind of a weird hybrid. But that's the way they want us. They want us beholden to the state and properly cowed so we don't say anything. So the only way to protect yourself is literally to go through all your social media accounts and painstakingly delete anything remotely controversial you've ever said, or just nuke your accounts.
That seems like the best idea.
Nuking the accounts?
Yeah, and then start brand new.
Yeah, you could. Although the way these people are, I'm wondering, like, if you nuke it, but there's something out there called the Internet Archive, which keeps track of everything. If you're a person of interest, somebody could start to archive a shitload of your old posts. And even if you nuke your account, you're like, well, that's fine. But look, we have the archive of it.
Well, what Disney did a handful of years back with James Woods, they went through what was that ride involving the animated movie that him and Bobcat Goldthwait was part of.
Yeah,
they removed his voice from it.
Yep.
Because of some old tweets or something like that he posted.
Well, James Woods is a very outspoken. He would be speaking out against this. Yeah, he does not give a shit anymore.
Bobcat Goldthwait had an excellent response to that in an interview not too long after that happened. And he said, "Hey, what you're doing is pretty crummy. I'm paraphrasing, but hey, if you want to go, back in time and look at some of the stuff I've said, you might as well take my voice and my likeness off of everything as well, because you'll be coming after me as well. I've said some things.
Yep, for sure.
I want to say 25, 30 years ago, I used to go to buy books all the time. I loved science fiction books way back in the day. And I loved these short story books, these allegories. And I got a bunch of them at home. And I said, this is a long time ago. And this one short story in this one book in this series of, a whole bunch of short stories in this book anyhow, is the story of this guy who's going to visit, I'm just trying to remember the best of it, to visiting family or friends in California. This is in the not too distant future. And they're at this cafe outside, and they're talking, they're having a good time. It's nice and sunny. And this guy visiting California mentioned something about, earthquakes. And they're like, shh, shh. And he's like, well, aren't you worried about her? Don't say it. Like, why can't I say her? No, it's not allowed.
Really?
And and the guy's like all confused, and there's drones, and somehow the authorities hear him say it. You're not allowed to say earthquake in California at this point. So this guy's going to get in trouble, so he ends up escaping back to New York. Now, he'd been away from New York for a long time. So he gets back to New York. He's trying to get back to normal in his life, and he's out at a diner or someplace, and he mentions, I think it was love or something along that time. And they're like, oh, you're not allowed to say that. Like, what? No, don't, shh. They'll arrest you. You can't say that. Mm-hmm. It was a short story. I swear to goodness, it's popped in my brain a whole bunch of times. So I'll find the book someday.
Yeah, please do. I'd kind of like to read that, actually.
And I'm paraphrasing it as best as I can remember it, but that was the gist of it right there.
Yeah. When you said that, yeah, and Zach's Xander, 1984 equals 2024. Yeah, it just reminded me of that scene in 1984, where him and the girl are caught, by the state. They go to their love nest, and they think they're alone, and then all of a sudden, horribly, they hear, the voice of, Big Brother or the state giving them the gotcha, like, stay where you are. I mean, and the thing is, you mentioned California. Adam Carolla has a saying, Canada is always 5 years ahead of California. So all the dumb stuff they try in Canada, you can be sure that they will at least try a portion of this in Canada. Now, we do have this little thing called the First Amendment, which may help protect us from it. But the Constitution is always under assault from these people. And you never know how these states... Look, the government shall not infringe upon your right to own a firearm. Yeah, go ahead. I'll get this down.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
I'll pick up that. Yeah, Hyperborean. The law does not operate retroactively. It's a fundamental rule of law. It's disintegrated here and replaced with some Maoist crap on steroids. Scary. It is. Yeah, thank you so much, Hyperborean. Well said. Like I said, I would hope we're inoculated a little bit in the States against this, but I don't know. There's strict gun laws in places like New York and California. When the Constitution says your Second Amendment rights shall not be infringed upon, it's not that amendment doesn't tell you what you can have. It tells the government what they can't do. Same with the First Amendment. You're allowed free expression. It isn't like, well, under blah, blah, blah. I mean, look, they give them an inch and they'll take a mile. So a lot of people were talking about, well, maybe this should go into law because that is Justin Trudeau when he was a younger, probably, kind of a goofball guy, went to a Halloween party dressed as, obviously, some sort of sultan or something.
I thought it was, you're probably right. First thing I thought of was Robin Williams and Aladdin.
Yep.
Like I thought he was a genie.
Yep. Yeah, Warren, don't worry, buddy. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, don't ever feel like you need to throw me money. If you guys are struggling, this is just if you want to put it essentially like a tip jar. So yeah, no worries there, buddy. Good to see you here too. Thank you all for showing up. Hit that like button if you could.
because we're on multiple platforms now.
Yeah, 20 on Patty says 20 on Rumble.
Yep. So our number is a little, when me and Panther sit down, take our shoes and socks off, and count up all the people. Like we're gonna need another person to help us count.
Yeah.
So that's what we're saying. That's what me and Panther are obviously saying to you guys.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
Potatoes. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato. Oh, we're out of potatoes.
Well, often it's topic driven, and I know a lot of people are here for Elmore, and hopefully you've stuck around for some of this stuff too, even though this
also came for the contact lens in the Atlantic Ocean story.
Oh yeah, obviously.
True story.
Love to hear us kibitz.
True story.
So anyway, long story short, Canada is screwed.
Have a good night, Travis. Travis is out.
Oh, good night, Travis.
See you, Travis. Take care, buddy. Canada's screwed. You had your chance to get rid of this guy and you didn't, which just tells me that...
Does Canada have a vote? Like, is that how they do it?
Oh, yeah.
So you
it's
vote
a little different than ours.
What are they called? The Prime Minister of Canada?
Yeah.
So how often is theirs?
It's one of those maybe we have a Canadian here, but it's one of those countries where I think you can call for elections or something. They do that in Britain too. Well, yeah, it might be gone. But I don't know when the next election. I think maybe it is set, but like you can also call early or something. Warren says every 4 years. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Is this an election year?
Yeah.
It is for us.
Yeah. When is your next 2025? Okay. So I guess it would always be a year after our presidential. So. I mean, you could go to a place like California and they're always going to vote against their own interests just because they've just been so brainwashed and there's literally no helping them now. I hope Canada's not there yet. Man, I always used to be such a Canadian fan. Like I would love their hockey teams, respect the hell out of them. And I don't know what happened. It's the same thing like Scotland. You picture like the Scot, the fucking Braveheart and stuff. And they've just given in to all this stuff. Jeffro Denkar, $10 Canadian. Thank you, Jeffro. Good to see you here. Thanks for always supporting the show. Much appreciated. Canadian Human Rights Tribunal got no problem going after people over pronouns. They're in colleges and universities here and even caused me a bit of trouble when I upgraded my education years back. Oh, good Lord. Oof. Yeah, give me the dime story on that on Twitter or something. Message me on Twitter or something, Jeffro.
John Osborne says Australia is bad too.
Australia too, yes. It's like you keep having these visions in your head, like Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee, that's not a knife, and William Wallace, Braveheart, and the typical Canadian, Mountie or lumberjack or
Dudley
something.
Do-Right.
Yeah, Dudley. Well,
save the day.
But yeah, I mean, it's like it's all gone, and I don't know. Chris Chapman says the Conservatives are polling at 41 to 43%. He will be wiped out. Well, let's hope so, and then let's hope the Conservatives aren't as bad. I mean, look, they can't be as bad. So let's just hope they're not bad too, only to a lesser degree. Kind of like the Republicans here. There's definitely some good Republicans, but a lot of Republicans here who they should really just be Democrats because I think that's where their bread is buttered. But it's why it's not even really like a left-right thing anymore, although there's some of that. I think it's more populism, which is represented by Donald Trump and people like Nigel Farage, people who want to live in nation states. They don't want to have open borders all the time. And it's just people call it the uniparty, the global party, who are just kind of buying into all this stuff. Like, yeah, we need to have open borders. We need to put the citizens of the world under our thumb to some degree.
I wonder if the ladies of Canada find him dreamy.
Oh, I think so, yeah. Well, I mean, the liberal, I would say the conservative women probably find him horrible.
His
but
eyes, he's got that hair.
Oh, yeah, he's
suit.
He definitely has it going on for sure.
Canada lapel pin.
He's a smarmy little half grin, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Epcot, when you're walking around Epcot, isn't Canada's just donuts?
Is it really? I haven't been there since like 2007. So
I think it's donuts. Anybody been to Epcot lately? Tell me what the food is at Epcot.
It's a donut stand, eh? It's a Tim Hortons.
I was at Timmy Ho's today, and KG always goes to Timmy Ho's. She's a Starbucks girl, but she has an appointment over on the east side, and there's a Timmy Ho's right there. And she's, it's inexpensive, so she likes it. Well, I went there today to find out what all this fucking hype's about Timmy Ho's, man. Their drinks, I needed help with the menu. I couldn't read it as fast as like I didn't want to hold up the line. I just wanted her to explain it to me rather than all that other stuff. But they have fresh baked biscuits. And I was like, all right, well, I'll be back maybe. But I need to look at their menu perhaps online when I'm not so rushed. Because there was someone behind me, and
biscuits. Yeah. You have my attention, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
I love a good biscuit.
Oh,
good
so
buttered,
do I.
good buttered
I could
biscuit.
eat biscuits every day.
Man. Surly, Canada is a gorgeous country. The mountains are stunning. Yeah, I've never been to the mountains, but we went up on a family trip about 5 years ago to Quebec. I always wanted to go up there. It's because when I was growing up, I used to watch the Quebec Nordiques across the lake from us. On Hockey Night in Canada, they would always kind of be like the alternate or late game or something like that. And so I'm always like, wouldn't it be great to go up to Quebec Sunday? And we did. We had a great time. This is right before the coup emerged. And and then you find out how Quebec handled. They were some of the most draconian people. When it came to COVID. Oh, I saw Chris Cuomo, the CNN guy, talking about how he's been taking ivermectin, by the way. And how, we all had it wrong back then. Ivermectin is harmless and actually could be good for you. Well, that's great, except you called every doctor who said that a quack and wanted to get their license taken away. You called every normal person who said, why can't I just take this stuff? What harm could it do? You called them a conspiracy theorist who wanted to eat horse paste. Gee, I guess we were just ahead of the curve. God, it makes me so pissed sometimes.
In Canada, the chat's blowing up how much they hate Quebec.
Well, there's always been that. Quebec is our special needs bro. There was always that thing about were they ever going to break off. Quebec is the California of Canada, only with terrible weather. Yeah. Well, I can only say as a visitor, 5 years ago, it was a great place to visit. It was beautiful. We had a great time. Having said that, now, kind of knowing what I know, I'm in no hurry to go back. Mrs. D keeps saying, let's go to Canada. And I keep like, we can, we'll do that.
Just go to Epcot.
Yeah, why don't we just, I keep saying like, plenty of states we haven't been to. Plenty of nice states.
I would always like to go if, Double D's send us on a road trip. I'm rooting for Hawaii.
Ooh, yeah.
I've never been. I know that it's a long ass flight. I get it. You got to fly to California, then it's like another pretty much flight to California to get to Hawaii. I'd go to Hawaii.
We'll have to use the company card.
Yes, Double D.
You guys got to turn in your expense reports. You understand, right? I need that for tax purposes.
In 2018, and I'm positive of the year. In 2017, Mrs. Mouse said, I would love to go to Hawaii sometime. In 2018, I was going to book us a trip to go to Hawaii. I went to the travel agency and got all the information and was about to go put my down payment on, but there was that volcano that erupted in Hawaii, and Hawaii was closed. They closed it. No one could come on because they were afraid it would cause a chain reaction. That volcano going off was going to cause a chain reaction for another one to go off. So that was it.
Tennessee. You guys been to East Tennessee or?
I guess I've never been to Tennessee, but definitely to North Carolina.
But I've never been to Western North. I mean, I've been through there, like Charlotte's in the West, North Carolina. Like I guess we stayed a couple nights in Charlotte over the years. We generally tend to go to the coast though when we go to North Carolina. Tennessee, I do want to get to. We've talked about it. Like, hey, let's go to Nashville. Let's do the Nashville thing, and I'm fine.
Good eats down there. Memphis area.
When I was younger, we only made it to Tazewell, Virginia.
I remember you talking about Tazewell. That's where you worked on the ships, right?
No, Norfolk, Virginia is where I worked on the ships.
Norfolk, that's right.
Virginia is where my old man's family is from.
That's right.
The little town stretched, in between these valleys.
Yep.
That's where I was a little kid seeing the cross burning up on the hill.
You saw a cross burning up on the hill?
I never told you that story.
Do you remember this, Crazy Mouse?
Oh,
you must have been keeping.
I probably 6 or 7.
Back on us.
Yeah, we were
so
leaving,
early 70s, probably,
leaving, right? And there it was.
There it was.
Way up on this hill. Behind that you can see the beautiful mountains up there. Oh yeah, the most wonderful people I've ever met. And when I became a teenager visiting, it was terrifying. These beautiful people that were family, absolutely loved, were the most hateful, racist people in the world. They would smile and talk to you with honey on their lips. Oh, my aunts would talk stuff like that, make my heart flutter. But they were racist. Holy moly! And that's not all Virginians.
Yeah,
but that's Tazewell, Virginia for you.
Could just be generational too.
It is.
It's like my every once in a while, my dad will just out of the blue, like he'll say something like that, but it's almost like he doesn't even mean it. I think it's just kind of it's like a not like a reflex, but like a phantom limb or something. Right. They kind of go to every once in a while, and it just I don't know. That's why racism has never been a huge deal to me, because just every generation it just kind of gets less and less just naturally. Just the more you kind of deal with people that aren't just like you. I mean, just by nature, the less sort of racist you become naturally. But of course, now we have people telling us that we're racist just because we are white, which is stupid. So yeah, that burning cross, huh?
Yeah.
Damn. Did you even ask like what it was for? Or?
No, we were bedazzled. Me and my brother, we were like, wow, cross burning, and it got really quiet in the car. Dad kept his mouth shut. Mom's looking at the map.
East Tennessee is where DM James is from. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yep. My boss moved down there. I think that must be where the mountains are, I think. Yeah, it would have to be.
Maybe Smokies. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So my old boss, who I like dearly, when he retired, he moved there. Somebody's, Injun Joe, close to Tazewell, Virginia.
I would never
He's
call
not
you
racist.
Not at all.
We never thought you were. Injun Joe. Yep. Cal Surly, they let people die during COVID. Yeah, they did. God, remember that? How crazy that was. Me and Crazy Mouse would just be like, what is going on, man? Like, this is just insanity. Every day it would be like a new thing.
Oh, in my line of work, 2020 was just a disaster. People always talk about like, oh, it brought out like the best in some people. Like, it brought out the fucking worst in people. I saw the greed. Like, I would be going grocery shopping for people, and there was like all these limits on, products, because someone just walked in 10 minutes before and bought all the pasta, and I would have to go to like a Sam's Club, which is like a Costco for those who don't know what that is. And, those family pack sizes of bath tissue have like 36 rolls in them. And people would be buying like, well, I want one of this brand, one of that brand, and one of that brand, and meanwhile, there's people who can't get any, I just saw the worst in people in that.
For sure.
And then of course, without getting into like tip baiting and what that all was, I just saw the worst.
Yeah.
My wife had a little network of teacher friends that would call and say, hey, this Dollar General has toilet paper way across town, or this Dollar General over here has toilet paper.
Yeah, fortunately, my kids still worked at a grocery store back then, so they were allowed to get some more. I'm like, well, get us what you can, because everybody else is like, buying it out,
hoarding it.
People are so stupid. If you want to hoard things, you do it now.
Yeah,
I mean, do it now.
Right.
I mean, if you do it now, you're also sort of inoculating yourself against inflation, because When in times of inflation, the only thing you don't want to own is currency. You want something that's either gonna, that's going to appreciate in value. So
yeah, Tacticia, if I'm pronouncing that right. Yep, it brought out the freaks, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. I saw actually it's the lady that started the cult. She's my Aunt Marge. I saw her during COVID. She was grocery shopping at an Aldi's, and I was there shopping for a customer. She was in the suit picture in Back to the Future when Marty goes and visits his dad that's sleeping, and he puts the headphones on him, and he plays Edward Van Halen. He had to call it Edward Van Halen instead of Van Halen because Van Halen didn't give the authorization to use their music, so Eddie made his own.
It was like the record company didn't give him that.
And he's dressed in that yellow spacesuit. That was my aunt.
Like a hazmat.
at the grocery store.
People are crazy.
I don't think people also realize how small say 6 feet away. We're 6 feet away from Double D.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Drew
probably more, but also you'd be standing there. Good, you gotta back up. How many? Do you know how big 6 feet is? I'm 10 feet away from you.
Dr. Drew has talked about this before. He said there was no. He's talked to people who were there when they created that. There was no science behind that. They were just like, well, we need something. 6 feet. Almost exactly like that. He said it was almost exactly like that. We need something. How about 6 feet? Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, so people are going crazy over that. Yep, thin cloth masks. Yep, the gaiters and stuff.
I'm Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan. Yep.
we almost had fistfights at work, and then the company implemented this. Here's this phone number. If you know anyone that's not wearing their mask at work or has not got the jab, call this number. Line. Yeah. 2 guys got a warning and a week off, and they're like, "Whoa, it's nobody's business."
Yeah.
It was like 4 weeks later, they dropped that. Boom! This guy's got a warning and a week off, and
It's so weird. Before all those things, but then when you think about the HIPAA violations that they were actually creating, are you vaccinated? I don't believe it's any of your business.
Yeah. I mean, I have an employer. I've worked there for, coming on 25 years. I don't fall in love with my employer because if the government had told them to fire me because I didn't get, the jab, they would have done it. So it's I owe them a week's worth of work at the end of the week. They owe me a paycheck. After that,
your paycheck is your thank you.
Yeah, we're good.
Remember Don Draper?
Yeah, Don Draper. Yeah, that's what the money's for. So it's I don't need to be a free billboard for my company. People do that. They'll buy polo shirts, and I'll be like, you people are dumb. Why are you doing that? You're spending your own money to advertise for them. It's I like them well enough, and I like the people I work around and with. But as a company, it's just a Fortune 500 company, and they would have canned my ass if Joe Biden. We have one senator from West Virginia to thank for that mandate not going into effect. Gee, do you think some of you might remember that? Going into the election this coming year. I mean, my ass would have been, could have been fired. And look at how ridiculous it looks in retrospect. They were going to mandate people get jabs for something that was survivable by 99.9 something, whatever percent of people. Preposterous.
I technically never tested positive for it.
Twice.
Yeah, I think I had it at least 3 times by this point.
Mrs. Mouse, who had been vaccinated, in a whole bunch of the boosters, she had it 4 times.
Yeah, that's what I love. It's at some point, don't you just go why are you doing that? I'm going to go get my next booster. Why? It's it's insanity.
Well, if I get my card punched again, I get a free cup of coffee.
Yeah. Remember that they were doing that kind of stuff? Oh God. It's good Lord. Yeah, 99.797. Yeah.
Yeah, he corrected himself.
Yeah, 99.97. Yeah. It's absurd. All right, let's do a little Jeffro.
Let's do this.
We won't do all of it. I do want to do a little bit of O&E or O&R tonight. So this is Harmony Ginger, kind of a newcomer onto our scene. I like Harmony. I was on T-Shirted Historian with her. Seems like just a girl who's trying out some of these things that Jeffro, the Mr. Bro SR, is a proponent of, like this one-to-one time, which I'm fine with. Keeping track of your time a little bit better. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Still, the one-to-one time, whatever, I guess if that's your thing. But, she's kind of like just trying this stuff out. And she's kind of a relative newcomer on YouTube too. But generally I like Harmony. She seems like a very sweet girl. And then she interviewed Jeffro. And I don't know if we can do this whole thing. So do me a favor afterward. Go ahead and subscribe to her channel. Tell her I sent you. And watch all of this. Because Jeffro is, as always, insufferable. Oh, hold on 1 second. I'll show you. Here's Jeffro's map. I'm the third most important person in D&D history. This is his campaign map. Who Caresville down at the bottom. Doucheland up at the top left.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. Trollopolis. If I walked into a game like this, and I was like hard up to play, I guess maybe I'd stick around, but holy smokes. If I saw these, this would be worrying to me.
It's a red flag, giant red flag.
How are you supposed to have any sort of immersion into your world when there's a town called Doucheland or Who Caresville? Tell them Large Marge sent ya. Good pick there, as always, Crazy Mouse. Yeah, so let's watch a little bit of this interview. Harmony basically just kind of lets him go. She wasn't being any confrontational at all. So I think she did a fine job. Jeffro,
I'm gonna do it. See it's like the old thing of like, if you want to describe what water is, you don't ask a fish, right? So if I stay in the context of RPGs and gaming, we can't really talk about the social dynamics that are involved. And this pertains to you as well, you showing up.
A lot of like hidden resentment he has for her showing up, even though she's like essentially a fan of his. If I didn't know any better, if I didn't already know that he was gay, I'd think he's trying to like neg her.
Right.
He's trying to like purposely like, oh, all these other, nerds on the other, everybody else, they're pandering to you and they're falling all over themselves. I'm going to neg you so you'll like me. But as we know, as Jeffro is going to demonstrate here, he is a closeted gay man.
You are what I think you might be. So let's see. Another little thread here. I'm gonna go down a rabbit trail. You're gonna have to reel me back in, but just trust me for a second.
Go wherever you want. I'm interested.
Right. Crossface. That he sees all of these social dynamics that we talk about in RPGs. That I see in dance. He sees the same thing in wrestling, or the whatever type of wrestling that he does. I don't even know. Some kind of fighting stuff, gym bro fighting stuff. But he says, once you see the way, you see it in everything. So in dance, we have people that come through. The casual people, they walk in, they have no idea what is happening. They'll sit through a lesson and they'll just leave. They might not even do a social dance. That's like 99%.
He couldn't make it 5 minutes without getting into the dancing stuff. I never noticed he has a little bit of a lilt to his voice too. That's why I say, like, Jeffro, just come out of the closet, for God's sakes. You don't have to keep posting these memes of, like, these giant weightlifters, like, yeah, this is what we are. Dude, it took you 5 minutes to start talking about swing dancing, and he ain't done.
Percent of people and that will come through a dance. Like, you'll never see them again. It's not for them. There's nothing you can do about it. I'll sift through them. I'll pick through them. I'll be like, that person has potential. They're excited. They didn't.
Snake Oil Sean, $5. Thank you, Sean. As always, you are a gentleman and a scholar. One-to-one time only makes sense if you're a GM running multiple groups in the same campaign world regularly. Absolutely, yeah. I do understand now. I didn't at first. I do understand now where it all kind of comes from. And yeah, if you have that, I guess it's a good problem to have, right? Yeah, I see that. But God, I just don't see it as filling a huge niche. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Chris Miller, $5. I've seen Garibay get to the point quicker.
True story.
Chris Chapman and Howard Hughes are both quoting Airplane.
They come with a spouse or boyfriend or something. They have like the aptitude. Nope, you still won't see them again. It's rare. It's a rare person that will be like, oh, this is my thing, and this will be at like a live event, live band.
Think so, Howard.
Environment, a historic ballroom. You have everything. Everything is perfect. The stage is set for this person to experience the best that this activity has to offer, and they will walk away. No matter how much attention you give them. The other extreme of that, is I call them hipsters, and these are people that they're beyond hobbyists. They don't really dabble.
Is Harmony Ginger a hipster?
I don't think she's a hipster.
I don't know. I was just asking. She had that little chuckle in that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he was accusing her of being.
Yeah.
Obviously, Harmony's a little younger, but she seems sincere. Look, unlike somebody like Ginny D, who is obviously a tourist and just doing this for the money, like Harmony's just, from everything I've seen. Look, I think later on she says she's a war gamer. She plays Twilight Imperium. Good Lord. I mean, if you ever want to get my attention, Harmony, that would be it. Because
that's dedicated.
Yeah, that is dedicated, and we love TI4 here. But yeah, like I said, he kind of goes through, and he at various times he'll praise her, and then he'll kind of neg her a little bit.
There's a group of people who will go through an 8-week or a 16-week round of dance education, and you can basically dance with them. Most people can dance with them. You can do the usual things. You might call it a conventional approach to dance. These people can entertain each other a lot. They will stay at the conventional level for decades. They're happy with conventional dance. But the hipsters aren't. The hipsters look at that and they're like, where's your musicality? What are you doing? I see you doing a sequence of moves. And
where's your musicality? Talks like Paul Lind.
Center Square.
Center Square. Where's your musicality?
Listen here, Center Square. Shut up.
Listen here, hipster.
And you're just, I don't know. You're just so boring. Do you have any idea how boring you are? So these hipsters, they go off. They learn things that are outside of the conventional framework. And there's not, if you think there's not a lot of people who get into dance to begin with, there's even fewer hipsters. But you watch the hipsters, and when they interact with the novices, the casuals, the conventional dancers.
It's hard to see. Is he building the hipsters up as a force of good or bad? I can't tell.
I know this is a small clip, and we're devoid of a lot of context, but I am lost. I mean, I am like.
The only thing you missed is like her just literally introducing him and like saying, just giving him like a leading question on, I don't know, maybe what is one-to-one time, or what's the bro SR.
Panther says she's playing Fortnite on another screen.
Could be.
I hope so.
Harmony, if you ever watch this, let us know.
Harmony, come on our
show. She was very respectful. I have an idea. Yeah, I see that. Thank you, Crazy Mouse. Yeah, I'm gonna guide the ship here because I have to manually do the on-off of the video. Chris Miller, Paul Lind, and Pauly Shore. If Paul Lind and Pauly Shore had a baby, yeah. Ooh.
Who's that guy that comes on a talk show and he throws confetti out
Rip
of a
Taylor.
bag?
Rip Taylor.
Rip Taylor. That's who. Didn't we say Gavin?
Yes.
Look like him.
And what's interesting, they get the other people that interact with them, like they may not know that the hipster is a hipster, and they presume upon them as if they're just like everybody else, and you find and I'm sorry to say that this happens, but it really does. It's the nature of the beast. But people get their feelings hurt. And so, I can't stand those hipsters. Oh, they're just so rude. They're so aloof. How dare they? But what happens when you get a large group of hipsters together? Say 100 of them or 200 of them. This is very interesting.
She has no idea what she got herself into.
Yeah, she's just like,
and she's been
tell me, Jeffro. I want to know. 200 hipsters together. That is we call that a prime target, Jeffro. That is.
That's called Portland.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, he's 3.5 minutes. That's why I say I think he legitimately is gay. He's so into dance. He has a chance to talk about, like, if you ask me about role playing, I would just lean on, like, the years that we've played together, right. My readings, my thoughts, my desires, my goals. I wouldn't just start talking about, like, accounting.
Right. Or like all the rollerblading you do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like rollerblading or something like that. Yeah. Or, I like to run the hills. Attack of the Eye Creatures. That caught my attention. Yes. I think Meat knows I'm a Misty, so he knows how to get my attention.
Normally the dance floor is very open, very free. People are moving around all over the place.
Remember in
this guy's giving himself away completely.
Do you remember in the movie? It's Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, their first one.
Yeah, where they were in. He was the smart janitor.
Goodwill Hunting.
Goodwill Hunting. Yeah.
Remember when he's interviewing his potential psychiatrist, and he's on the couch and he's talking about the music going boom, 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 boom. That's what I'm picturing this guy doing as he's sitting. He's fist pumping like freaking Jersey Shore.
Oh boy.
You don't really have to put up a fight to be able to dance right by the band.
Anon says a group of hipsters is called a harmony.
But if you have several hundred hipsters in a single ballroom, this is really surprising. But what happens when you get them together is that a hierarchy forms with the best dancers at the front and the worst dancers at the back. And if you walk into that room and start dancing,
Good Lord, could there be a correlation with students in college too? Maybe the best students sit up front.
I've never seen that.
Wow, I never would have understood this without you, Jeffro.
Grouping people together is always a hierarchy. Hell, there's more chest thumping at work where I'm working at. Everyone's trying to bargain in and barge into.
No, shut up. This is all dance related. How dare you stomp on my point?
Asking people to dance, getting asked to dance, you will discover based on where you are standing, where you are dancing, how much status you have vis-a-vis everyone else that is there. And if you try to go forward, to get closer to the front, there's an urgency to it. There's because if the band stops, no one up there wants to be without a partner for the next dance. And so they're all looking. They don't want to be seen with someone who's not a
guys, later on, I'm not lying. He calls himself the third most important person in the history of D&D.
Listening to him and his cadence and how he's putting his sentences together. If I close my eyes, I hear Condor DM. I feel like how he talks, and how it's me structured, highly opinionated about of everything else. But just how he puts his sentences. That's what I'm getting out of it. I'm like listening. With my eyes closed. I'm like, God, that's DM Condor. I
would almost say for sheer bombast, Condor is more entertaining. He's frustrating as hell.
Yes.
And he's a moron. But this guy, he will put you to sleep. Should have done that live, Chris. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah.
She's blinking a lot.
Proficient dancer. So if they look at you, if they know you, you've got a better chance of getting up there. And if they don't, they're going to be a little skeptical. And even once you are there, dancing closer to where the best of the best are, once you're there, you will have to fight to hold your ground. The people that are dancing next to you will be doing all these very interesting moves, stuff that you wouldn't pick up in your dance class. They will be using they have things called floor management. They'll be using their space very assertively, and you'll be dancing.
She's trying to wind up to get a point in to because he's necking himself She's probably thinking how the hell did I ever think this guy knew what he was talking about? I love the chat over here. This was her live chat. Mercurius. That's our Mercurius. He must have been here for this. Bros or hipsters?
There, and you're gonna do a turn, and this really great dancer next to you, you're gonna find out he's kicked you by accident, and it's probably your fault because you don't have the floor management skills, and you're like, oh my gosh, why would I even dance here? Why would I even put up with this? And so then the heat, I wouldn't want to say heat or toxicity, but it's very demanding. It's very
she keeps trying to get her point in.
Do you remember in that episode of Seinfeld, for anybody that watched it, when Kramer took the vow of silence and he's at Monk's Cafe and Kathy Griffin is talking and he just interrupts, you got to shut up.
Yes, exactly.
You talk too much.
Yeah, I would have died if she just said, well, thank you so much, Jeffro. 10-minute interview.
It's tough. It's tough on your feelings. You're going to get your feelings hurt. And, if you're not ready for it, if you haven't trained for it, if you're not used to these social dynamics, you're going to be repulsed and find you're slipping back down to
repulsed. So this is what a Radiant Citadel solo adventure feels like. I think so, north of the Rockies. Thank you very much.
The level of not just your dance proficiency, but your internal psychological resilience. Now, does this have any...
What was that slam? Was he making a point? Boom.
Anything to do with anything you've ever observed in RPGs?
I think I can guess who the hipsters are.
Yes, right. It's us. It's obviously us. And you, the moment that you...
So he's saying that all the bro SR are the hipsters? It's so odd because hipsters usually a derogative, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're usually seen as tourists and, kind of
ignorant,
shallow, ignorant. Yeah, a little bit.
Chris Miller just in the tip jar.
Yep.
Bam.
Is Jeffro a freaking Vocon? Maybe. Thank you, Chris.
Brandon Bronstein, and I gotta say, I'm sorry to say this. I don't want to be your guest on your show and insult you, but
okay.
But I will.
Okay.
Because week 5, you get to week 5. I've done 1-to-1 time for 5 weeks, and everybody's like, "Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it."
I know.
This is amazing.
So he's insulting her here because, you know, she's been pretty public, like, hey, I'm starting this one-to-one time thing I've heard about from Jeffro. You know, it's going good. You know, I'm going to document it. Well, he's pissing on her right here.
Right.
If you could tell that, he was saying like, oh, yeah, 5 weeks. You've been doing it. I've been doing it for years. The struggle's real for Jeffro.
I don't want to assault you, but...
Yeah, but... Instead of just encouraging her and, you know, being like, oh, yeah, you can tell immediately there's this... Again, he's a closeted gay man, so I think that's why the claws are out, because Jeffro is he acts very womanly. And I'm sorry to, you know, all of you fans of his in you know, this live chat over here during her live stream, not ours. But how could you possibly think this dude is cool? I mean, he may have a decent idea about one-to-one time. I'm perfectly fine with that. You may be like, hey, I don't like Jeffro himself, but I like his ideas. That's fine. Got no problem with that. But these guys who are like, oh yeah, Jeffro, you're always right about everything. He's a fucking clown. He runs his Twitter account. He's now made it like subscriber only, because he couldn't take any criticism from all the dumb stuff he was saying. He's a I don't even want to say he's a master of the 140 character burn, but that's all he did on Twitter is just dump on people. And then when he got the little bit of pushback, like the little bitch that he is, he ran. Jeffro, you can't possibly think that we think you're like the bodybuilder meme that you keep saying you are. You talk about dance way too much for that. Way too much.
I learned all about swing dancing and all about hipsters and nothing about one-on-one time.
So far. Oh, and he did all that, and now his first thing is, now let me dump on you personally, Harmony, for, you know, having the temerity to show up and be a woman and, you know, getting some attention.
So, but like that's all it took for you to be an RPG hipster that outclasses 99.999% of.
He goes on to say, all right, I'm going to stop this and the madness. He goes on to like tell her at the end, like she's like, and she even says like, she makes a joke about playing with him and the bros, and you know, that just doesn't happen because Jeffro doesn't allow women at the table.
Seriously?
No, does not.
Jeffro spoke in third person.
Yeah.
The Jeffro doesn't like
Jeffro doesn't do that. He and she was fine too. She's like, oh, I wouldn't want to be. She's like, I wouldn't want to intrude on your space. She's like, you guys have yours, you know, I could do mine, you know, with ladies only, which is fine. I'm not saying there's anything like illegal or wrong with it, but it's just so telling that, you know, he thinks he has to have, you know, one-on-one time, you know, with the guys. Can't let any of those icky women
maybe they play like they used to do the Olympics in the olden days, naked.
Greco-Roman wrestling. Yeah.
Well, he doesn't want any challenge. You know, girl at the table taking away, you know, the dudes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he doesn't. The claws come out again.
Claws come out.
Yep. Rare.
Close
Yeah.
in the corner.
Yep. So I really wish he would just come out of the closet, because he seems to me just like such a deeply, like, we're talking like 1970s, you know, in the closet, like just terrified.
When Norm Macdonald says, I'm a deeply closeted gay man.
Yeah. Go ahead and grab that. Snake Oil Sean. Thank you so much, buddy.
Thanks
$5.
for all the gift memberships.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes. You guys have all been great. You super chatters and non-super chatters, we love you all. Thank you for helping to keep the channel above water. Snake Oil Sean and others.
Closeted gay man.
To be clear, I'm not a proponent of one-to-one time. It just took me a while to wrap my head around why it existed. Yeah, no, I completely understand. Yeah, the thing is, Jeffro could be such a better proponent or spokesman for what he likes if he just understood incrementalism, which is, to me it's dumb to think that people are going to respond by you presenting yourself as a elitist, which is what he does. He could just say like, hey, we do this thing one-to-one time. What you could do is just, start really paying attention to what your characters are doing, through time. If you have more characters, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you may have two groups, we have this awesome system where you can actually kind of combine them in the same world. Let us know. But he can't do it because he's a moron. He's a petty moron and this is all he is. His life is apparently two things: swing dancing and being Jeffro. That's it. Jeffro, I said on Twitter, he's like the pro wrestler who just doesn't give up the gimmick. Like Randy Savage was apparently like that.
Yes.
Like, it's like whenever you were talking to him, you were talking to Macho Man, and it's like, geez, come on.
He drank his own Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it's like, give it a rest, dude. It's I think Sid, they did the interview with Psycho Sid, and they were doing a spot. They ran really late into the night, like 3 a.m, and it's like, afterward, you're like, oh, come on, where's Miss Elizabeth? He was like doing that, and Sid said he was shaking his head like, come on, dude. Like, what is wrong with you? Like nobody's listening. But that's Jeffro. I think he always thinks he has to be quote unquote on. So he actually does more harm to himself. Like, he would be better if he really cared about what he presents, what he talks about, the one-to-one time and doing rules as written. He'd let somebody like Harmony, who is a little bit more of a softer face, to do the heavy work there. But he won't, because this is his little, I don't even want to say fame. He's written a 30-page pamphlet. I started after it, but she bought it. She's like, yeah, I bought this. It's like, yeah, it's only like, it was like damning by faint praise. She was saying like, yeah, well, it's only 30 pages. It's like a pamphlet that he's written. Wasn't one-to-one time from AD&D 1E. Boss Bully Boy, thank you very much. Yeah, that's where he's getting it from. It's mentioned. If Gary were still alive today, he'd probably be confused as to why a religion has formed around it. He'd probably be like, hey, if you like it, knock yourself out. But it's a way, it's certainly a way to wrangle different groups. If you have, like, do people have this issue or this problem? Having multiple groups? I mean, I guess I've never really had to look for a group, because we've just kind of stayed together because we're all friends, but I don't know. Apparently some people have 2 different groups, so they're DMing like 10, 12 people. Or at least they say they are. So yeah, maybe look into it if that's the case. But like I said, he's his own worst enemy when it comes to this, because he puts off so many people.
He is the hero of his own story.
Yeah. Oh, his big thing too is Appendix N of the AD&D DM's Guide. Appendix N is all the books you should read. Obviously Robert E. Howard, Vance, Fritz Lieber, and Tolkien too. But on Twitter a couple months ago, holy smokes.
Holy moly.
Stop the presses. You got to give him something there, Mouse. You got to give him.
I don't know what to give him.
Give him everything.
Gracious. Yeah.
Give him everything. Howard Hughes, $100. Howard.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
That's right. Meat is definitely back. We're eating well tonight, fellas. Howard Hughes, $100 for dance lessons. I'm sure Jeffro can't wait. Thank you so much.
I got one.
Can't wait.
Yes, there you go. Can't wait. Nicely put together there, Mouse. Thank you so much, Howard. Very kind as always. I'm not sure what you do for a living that you can afford to shovel that kind of money at your boy here. Like I said, I am extremely grateful, and don't ever feel like, just because you're here, you always have to do that. We enjoy your company, regardless.
With or without, right.
Yeah, but thank you so much. It really does, like I said, does help out. I got some ideas, so yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome.
Yeah,
thank you.
Cal, I'm glad my paltry sum wouldn't post. Patty, let's see, Patty. Because I think, let's see. one of my favorite things about Double D is his distaste for Jeffro is the same reason as mine, not because of an accusation leveled him baselessly. Yeah. It's I always want to separate that because I know there's people I know Crafty Matt and guys like that, and Harmony. You can include Harmony there, and maybe even you a little bit. Too, Patty. Like you may be picking up a little bit of what he's putting down, which is great. To me, there's nothing wrong with going back to the fundamentals. But holy shit, you couldn't have picked a worse spokesman. And just this whole, the way he sort of wrapped a religion around this one-to-one time. It's like a cult of personality.
Reach out to Harmony and get her on the show.
I could. I might wait a little bit. The thing is, she's kind of new on the scene, so it's kind of like that newness. Like everybody's like, I want to talk to Harmony.
Hey, I'm not putting you on the spot.
No, I would like to.
You got a huge boost when you went on that guy's show.
Yeah. I would. I'd love to talk to her. Like I said, we were actually already on T-Shirted's show a couple weeks ago. She said, hey, she probably gets a little bit of. She probably even got like a little bit of pushback from Jeffro's his hardcore morons.
Because I looked her up. She has like 200 subscribers.
Yeah.
Like 230.
Yeah, she'll be good though. She's only started putting out content now, so if she starts putting out content regularly, that'll go up. She'll be fine. Yeah, and I'd love to talk to Harmony someday, but I also don't want to be like, I don't want to be pestering her right now. In fact, she's involved in that little project. A lot of us are.
Give her the summer.
So we'll
see you in the fall.
Yeah, but maybe even the next couple months or so. We'll. You keep reminding me of that, Mouse.
I will.
And we'll get her on.
Everyone could use a helping hand. I just remember the night at the baseball game when you were like, "Look at this!" And you kept showing me your subscribers.
Yeah,
you're like, "It's all because I went on this one guy's show."
Yep. Yeah, with her, it's a little more complicated because, like I said, I think because she's not in Jeffro's camp, but she likes Jeffro's ideas. I think she may get a little pushback or a little bit of ribbing, for coming on me because I'm so blatantly think that he's just he's a closeted gay man. Nothing wrong with that, and he's a moron. There is something wrong with that. It's like if L. Ron Hubbard had decided to start instead of Scientology, like his thing was like, once I get 20 people, I'm good.
Right.
Wait, once I start this religion, get about 20, 30 people, that's all I want. That's it seems to be his goal because, man, the way he does business, that's all he's going to get. Like his posts on Twitter, his original posts were only getting like 15 likes, maybe. It was the same people. Ooh, you got Baptism of Fire hard copy in the mail. Excellent. I'm so glad for Chris. Hope you're. It looks like Chris is still here. Guys, check it out if you want to look at the live stream we did with Pundit and Chris a couple weeks ago. It, of course, not only is Baptism of Fire available, it is doing great. In fact, Pundit just said that they were going to be featured on Bell of Lost Souls, which is kind of a bigger nerd site, but they got cold feet because I think the usual morons got to them. Another reason we still have to fight back and call it out whenever we see it, because they do try to fuck with people. That could have been an article there. It could have been another couple $1,000s for Pundit and Chris. Instead, it got squashed because the same lunatics went after, Bella Lost Souls and said, hey, if you do this, I don't know, it could be bad for you. So they probably just said, whoop, sorry. So they take money out of people's pockets, and that's why we do have to fight back, not just sometimes for causes or values or principles, but sometimes it's just for money too. So support Baptism of Fire. Take a good look at it. It's doing great. I think it was number one for a while. I think it's still like in the top 3, maybe top 2. It's freaking great.
It is beautiful.
It's a beautiful book. Beautiful. And I mean,
and if anybody out there has gotten their book from Greg, let us know. Yes.
Yeah. I think Drive-Thru was pretty solid there, because I got mine late. My my Dragon Slayer, and it came in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm going to say it probably did. But yeah, Baptism of Fire is good. It's another reason, like I know Pundit, he can be a bit of a pill sometimes for certain things. And I say, I'll stick up for Jeffro in this too. Pundit was all over, and that kind of got him and John, Basic Expert, fighting about because Jeffro or Basic Expert, John had Jeffro on.
We got a whole bunch here.
Oh boy, yeah, we'll come back to that. Hyperborean, $50. Is that Peruvian? I'm not sure what that is.
Paladin.
That's a $50 Paladin. Thank you so much, Hyperborean. My Baptism of Fire arrived today, and the color edition is absolutely fantastic. Yes, yeah. But how the hell are English speakers supposed to pronounce most of the geographical names in the setting? Could reach out to Pundit on that and see if he has a guide or something. Yeah, some of those names were giving me trouble too. Yeah. Hope you like the Beaver Master. I got to love that. Chris Miller, yeah, we're getting shadow banned everywhere. Yeah, please help us by promoting the game or getting a copy. Yep, guys.
That's nuts.
This is what happens when you don't have the right politics. Or you just like freedom. 4 weeks, yeah, it sounds about right. They are backed up. I think Chris would tell you the same thing, about Baptism of Fire. So yeah, it seems reasonable. And we'll just assume that it's legit. They're just kind of busy and backed up. But yeah, it breaks my heart that these guys can put so much work, Pundit into writing it, Chris into formatting it and publishing it, and yeah, it's like, fuck you. You guys don't have the right politics. And it's like people like Jeffro, they think they're above fighting for this stuff. Like, I'm fighting for such a bigger principle, fucking 1-to-1 time, which he admitted later in that interview, like 10 people might be doing in the country. What are you doing? You've made a religion out of an obscure thing. All right, so great. It helps a couple of people. Do it and move on, you moron. And it's like I was saying about Pundit, he can be a bit of a pill. He got in that squabble with John because John interviewed Jeffro. He did say Jeffro was anti-Semitic, and this is where I did come, if you remember, to Jeffro's defense a little bit. He just posted a meme. It was like, had like a Hasidic Jewish guy. Trust me, over the last month or two, the bar for anti-Semitism has been raised substantially. So him doing a couple of memes, to me, he could be, but him just doing those couple of memes and posting them wasn't enough for me. So I kind of disagreed with Pundit there. One thing you can say about Pundit is, dude is prolific. He is talented. And he is like just way more valuable to the hobby than this moron, this absolute moron that I think like 15 people are just enthralled with. Oh, Jeffro, you're the best. Jeffro, save us. So look into it's good for fodder for these live streams, but at the end of the day, you don't need to buy his pamphlet, his 30-page pamphlet. Spend it on people who actually want to make something that's useful for you, instead of something you can just kind of figure out on your own. So support the Chris Millers, the Pundits of the world, guys who are doing it.
They're truly making it a better place, for
our neck of the gaming world. Yeah, I mean, and I hope to do that too. When I get my adventure out. It's about 3/4 done. So I'm working with Rogan on the art there. So hopefully we'll have something to you guys. I'm hoping by the end of the year we can get this thing out. I'm not going to kickstart it at all. I just want it to be like one day, like, hey guys, you can order this. Kind of the way like Pundit and Chris do it. So
grassroots style.
Yeah. You like it? Buy it.
Another road trip. We could go to Vegas and we could be slappies with it. Newest adventure.
Ladies.
Newest adventure. Newest adventure.
Yeah, I like this. World tour.
Yep.
World tour.
We could at least take we got to do, now that the weather's nice, we should do the road trip to War Game Matrix
yes.
in Cleveland. we'll do a live stream in the car. Do a little to the world's the world's unbelievable RPG dump of a store. It's a magnificent dump. Just books everywhere, games everywhere, but there is no rhyme or reason to it.
There is so much stuff in there, hodgepodge placed anywhere. It is honestly hard to focus my eyes.
There could be treasures everywhere in that store, everywhere, and
room after room, and it's just laying and toppled and stacked and shoved over. Just amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, no one of consequence. Now that you mention it, maybe we will do a Garibay style nostril cam when we do it.
And put it in a cup holder.
Alrighty. What's that? We'll do a little bit of O&R because the boys are in. They're not in a pickle, but something is happening. So we will let the regulars go. If you are just here for the normal stream, thank you all for coming out strong tonight. Much appreciated. Thank you to all of you, not only on YouTube, but also on Rumble, who, came out still like 20. Wow, Patty said 20 live.
Plus, yeah.
Yeah, 20 plus. That's
If
great.
it got higher, I'm not sure.
Yep. Yeah, much appreciated. Yep. See you, Patty. Yep, I see you're going. Yep. Yeah, don't feel like you got to stick around, but some of you guys like our little live play with these two plucky knuckleheads. Yeah, we will. Your fans demand Paul. The oddest thing, isn't it?
Boys.
God. Today we're going to talk about how D&D is like a box of chocolates. Never know what you're going to get. All right, guys. For those of you who want to dip out, that is great. We'll see you guys next week. For those of you guys sticking around for O&R, well...
Remember, next week, maybe Henry Cavill.
Yeah, maybe.
And not sure.
And Harmony Ginger.
Well, that one we're going to give her the rest
we'll
of the summer.
give her some time. Okay. Give her some time. If
Next week, tune in. There could be Henry Cavill here. Yep. Henry, if you're listening, please join us.
We're begging.
All righty. So we get ready here. Doing our thing. Ooh. The one chair that we have Rogan sit on here, it has almost like a built-in whoopee cushion so whenever he sits down in it, it goes woo, woo. Okay. Oh yeah. Ooh yeah. All right. All right, so remember, you guys are in the free city of Port Prospera. They were on the run from the law, from this guy.
We got to give that up, Double D. In game time, this is like a year ago.
And not like, yeah, well, it's good to know that you're where you came from. That this is not your land. And who knows? You may run into him in the future. I don't want everybody to forget about Christopher Lee. So they ran across the sea, and they've landed in the city of Port Prospera, one of the 5 free cities of the southern continent. Now, as you guys were getting to know this city, it has just kind of a living district, huge plaza, open market, also a temple district. And you investigated there. You found there's a temple to St. Yig, which is good, and a temple to Set.
North of the Rockies. That's an excellent observation. I never put it together.
What about it?
That's who we look like.
Tom Cruise. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ah, man.
Yeah, you're like Tom Cruise in Risky Business. Way back, yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
I like it.
Heath Ledger is in Brokeback Mountain.
I didn't think of Heath Ledger. I thought of the guy that played Jax Teller. Charlie Hunnam.
Oh, yeah.
For your character.
So, all right. So they investigated Temple of Set, and then a couple of townies told you, like, hey, these guys sacrifice women at the new moon. Oh, and by the way, tonight's a new moon when you were investigating this. So you're like, what? This Temple of Set? So you decided to follow the procession from the temple. They took this sacrificial woman, in their congregation. Ooh, I do have a new one. Somebody said, hey, maybe an older Clancy Brown should be the priest leading him. That's what it came up with.
There you go.
So he was kind of, he was the one in charge. So whoever suggested that last
There's
week,
someone
thank you.
Ahead of him. That guy looks like
Yes.
he is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
He looks like he's in charge.
He does, yeah. Yeah, he's very, like you said, has an air of authority to him. But somebody definitely told you that the high priest's name is Zerok, and this guy's name is Zethrak. So he went to the water, with the congregation. You guys were following. Said a prayer, dipped her in the water, cleansed her, and then in her white clingy dress, they were heading back to the Temple of Set, where ostensibly, at least the way you hear, she's supposed to be sacrificed. So I think we had stopped at just as they were kind of heading back through that large, initial building, and you guys were you're the only ones kind of following them. So you got to let me know now what you're doing.
Well, our plan was to study their robes so we could make some. But to infiltrate, we should probably start right away so that if we wanted to be here for the next sacrifice from the beginning, which would be a month from now. So I think we want to maybe join the Temple of Set.
All right, so what are you doing? Like right now, this party is walking like towards the temple. Are you still in pursuit?
No, we decided to back off of that, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess I feel impassioned.
We aren't going to be able to get in and watch this, and there's nothing to see. They're going to kill a girl, so that we think, unless they're not going to. But maybe, tomorrow morning, find out how can we join the Temple of Set. We're new in town. That way we can figure out how do they pick their next family. So that's pretty much the goal, like not to watch this woman get murdered tonight.
All right. Okay. So you watch them disappear, through the streets of the city. And like I said, the people that are now on the streets, they give them a very wide berth and they're very quiet. And it's like as soon as they're out of sight, things go back to normal. Where do you go then afterwards? You're just back to the
back into the market area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's still a night market going on. It's a little skeevier. There's definitely women of the night kind of on display, so you're getting some looks there. There's some food vendors. It's a little bit more subdued, but there's still a little bit of life. And of course, there's life in the taverns and inns of the city as well.
How about if we go into like a tavern or an inn, talk about the procession that we saw, but maybe float it out there to see if there's any like, what the hell are you talking about type of vibe. I heard that the girl that they march through maybe actually doesn't get sacrificed. That they just pretend that they go through this ritual, but they don't sacrifice her. They just keep her as like, a woman of the evening for inside the temple, or just a way for like they keep her for something for other reasons. Am I explaining that?
Right, yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And we'll see how crazy this theory might possibly be.
All right. So where do you want to apply this in the market? Or?
Yeah, in a tavern inside the market district.
All right. So you find maybe we'll say you just kind of find one that looks reasonably, full, kind of on the rim of that giant plaza area. Yeah, and there's no shortage, of patrons, and seems fairly lively, not out of hand. A couple of women are looking at you. You can already tell, they maybe have you ID'd as potential customers. The bartender's friendly enough. And then there's some locals, to your left and right. Mainly just men. Some older, like a pair of older guys, and we'll say a pair of younger guys.
Definitely go towards the older guys. They would have more information as far as for this temple, maybe. That's my thought process.
Yeah. All right. Well, you have to tell me what you're going to say.
Well, when we, are sitting there at the bar, do you see the procession go by?
Yeah, they nod to you. The procession. Oh, yeah, the one kind of takes the lead. You can tell one's maybe a little chattier than the other, but they both seem friendly enough. Oh, yes. Yeah.
The new moon procession, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of looks down a little bit, but then immediately just kind of says, just kind of starts talking about like business of the day. Do you ply your trade in the market?
No, we just got into town.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard rumblings about, because it was such a big day because of the new moon, and the procession was going to be today. I just heard some rumblings. Don't know how true they are, if they're not.
Rumblings.
That the girl isn't really sacrificed.
Him and his friend look at each other kind of curiously, and then look at you. What gave you that impression?
Just word on I don't know, just the comings and goings. Just as we were watching the procession go by, and someone made a comment about like, oh, such a beautiful young girl to be, given away for sacrifice to the temple is set. And then I heard somebody else reply right back, well, that's not really what happens now. We all know that. So I guess I'm trying to find out what the real story is.
They look at you and they say, friend, let me give you a little bit of advice.
Absolutely.
Steer clear of those people. And them telling you that those women are sacrificed is unfortunately very true. Take it from one who knows. And let's just leave it at that, he says.
I already know what he means, so I will.
Then they just kind of talk about, oh, so you're new in the city, huh? What's your trade? What do you do?
We were just on a merchant caravan by trade.
Did some boat work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, plenty of they go on to say, plenty of opportunity here. Now they say that. Oops. They actually earn trade by hunting in the great jungle. They bring back exotic beasts. To ship abroad. Mm-hmm. They trap them, or occasionally we'll kill them. So sound like interesting guys, been doing it for a while. And you can tell as you're looking at them, they got some effed up scars all over them.
It does sound fascinating.
Yeah. Throw them in the pit with Jeffro.
I'm going to let this guy go because of the comment that he made.
Mm-hmm.
But I also then have a lot of respect for him because it is my understanding that they sell their daughters for 50 gold. And that's from last week's episode.
Yep. You're not going to say anything about that,
Nope,
are you?
That's exactly what my character's thinking. So I'm actually going to disassociate with these guys.
Okay. Well, they disentangle themselves and say, well, best of luck to you in the city. And then, after that, it's just, of course, the women come over and say, were you looking for the, pleasure of a night's company, standard stuff. But I would imagine it's still kind of a shock because it just happened, as you're thinking what's going on right now.
It's kind of hard to put your will in action when you're thinking about this young woman about to meet her last moments.
That's what these guys said, that it is indeed true. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to accomplish tonight?
No, not tonight, I don't think.
Okay.
These guys offered their name, by the way, the Trappers.
You only got the one, Brainor, Branor, Branor.
Because honestly, that does sound interesting.
Yeah.
Nothing that I want to do, but that does sound interesting. Trapping exotic animals out there. I mean, like what kind of creatures they have out there that's normal. Exotic for the rest of the world.
Vulture lions.
Rocks. Vulture lions.
Get me a vulture lion and make some armor out of his hide.
All right, so you but just go back to your regular inn then.
Yeah, we'll walk by,
All right. Now you guys have to tell me then what the plan is, what you're doing. The world is your oyster. You got plenty of opportunity out in the market. You've also met you think is perhaps a thief from the north, Ragnar. You see all kinds of opportunity for caravan, guarding, stuff like that. You see, obviously, what happened with Set, the Temple of Set, where apparently in that temple they say is like ungodly treasure. So,
well, I think that's something that we were thinking about doing, was going to the Temple of Set and seeing how we can join.
Is that on the docket today?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Should we talk to this Ragnar guy if we see him?
Yeah, if we do.
You don't see him in the daytime, the following morning.
But go to bed.
And then off to the Temple of Set.
Like to make an application?
We'd like to apply for a job, please.
Here's my resume and my references.
All right. It's odd all right, the next morning, the sun's shining, it's like I said, kind of warm, humid weather here. You're going up. It does look slightly less sinister, in the daytime as the sun's shining on it. And of course, the regular folks are piling into the Temple of St. Yig. And only as you get in that initial wall, do you see a couple of robed figures, coming to and from the Temple of Set, which has guards in front of its interior wall. Off to see the wonderful Temple of Set. Yep. So you're kind of inside the gates now. You're at the crossroads. You're staring at the beautiful Temple of St. Yig, which is everything right and good apparently in the world, or so you've heard. And off to your left on a nice little road, short little road, to the gates of the Temple of Set.
Try to look as focused as possible.
Yeah.
Serious. Don't look like a noob.
All right. I presume by that you're heading down the road then, and
I'm taking my lead from
all right.
Otto right now. He's a thinker. I'm not.
You get to the gates, and when you get there, there's two big guards. They have big pole arms, and they have a the snake of Set, this black snake adorning the front of their armor. They immediately kind of step towards you, but they're not entirely blocking your way. And the one says, "What business have you here?"
I'll say we're interested in joining the Temple of Set.
They look at each other and chuckle. Interested in joining? Really?
Last night's